Hello and welcome to the Vandy 24/7 podcast presented by FanDuel. Chris Lee joined by Luke Wyatt. We got a lot of ground to cover today, and what'll probably be about a 30 to 35 minutes episode. We'll talk about Vanderbilt's 80-55 win over Kentucky. We'll look ahead to life without Duke Miles, which resumes presumably against Ole Miss sometime, somewhere. Not entirely sure yet. Anyway, we'll get to all that. But our title sponsor for 2026 is Sylvan Park Ventures, a Nashville-based investment firm partnering with entrepreneurial companies and real estate opportunities through growth, capital, and long-term relationships. Find out more at sylvanparkventures.com. Basketball season is presented by the Wash House. You handle the cheering, we'll handle the laundry. With the Wash House Laundry Center's new pickup and delivery service, your clothes go from dirty to clean faster than a Commodore Victory. Whether you're a student or alum, diehard fan, we got you covered all season long. Schedule your pickup now at washhouseclean.com. Wash House Laundry Center, Nashville's cleanest play for Commodore Nation. Help out those who help our business. Steve Anders runs a wonderful company, is a good friend. Give those guys a try. Our football season and our coverage presented by former Vanderbilt kicker Joe Bulovas with Bulovas Wealth Management of Raymond James. If there's one thing we all share, it's our lives are simple and unique. At Raymond James, we believe that's worth celebrating, because financial planning isn't just about numbers and figures. It's about creating the life you envision. Whether you're building a future or preparing for retirement, a Raymond James financial advisor can guide you each step of the way, all while following a plan that's uniquely yours. That is life well planned. To learn more, call financial advisor Joe Bulovas with Bulovas Wealth Management of Raymond James, 615-645-6742. Raymond James and Associates, members, New York Stock Exchange, SIPC. Luke Wyatt, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us. How have you been, sir?
Good to see you. Just got a few limbs in the yard, but and a couple trees down, but we are blessed and hope you family are doing well as well.
We came out great to an extent. I almost feel guilty. I mean, we didn't lose anything, not power for a second. You got some tree limbs down in the yard, but nothing big. Underground power lines, man, that's where it's at.
Sounds like it. We've above ground, but we were out for 12 hours, but we were, 6:30 in the morning and came back on at 6:30 that night. So we were fine.
Wow. Well, where would you like to start with the Kentucky game? First of all, I'll start you here. Did you see the tweet that Vanderbilt sent out after the game?
I'm not sure. Refresh my memory.
It was, what did it say? What's his name's been tased and this game is over. Do you know what that was referring to?
Yeah, no, I don't. I saw it, but I don't. It went over my head.
It was a thing that went viral. I think Friday night there was an elementary school basketball game in Kentucky. It was being live broadcast on video.
Okay,
there was a brawl, and apparently the announcer's partner got involved in a brawl. I mean, like the video clicked on when chaos was breaking loose. You had looked like a player assaulting a coach and all kinds of people at it. And it was Ryan just got tased was the line that's gone viral. And it was, I guess the broadcast partner of the guy calling the game was in a tussle with somebody at midcourt and got tased. So that's been a line.
Chris, what are we doing? That's middle school basketball.
No, it's elementary school basketball, apparently.
Oh, elementary. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Anyway,
what are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was asking too. Well, what was Kentucky doing last night? I mean, Vanderbilt played well, but what was I watching there? My goodness.
I'm going to go back to a Stackhouse saying that was a scheduled loss for Kentucky. Look, they'd won 5 in a row. They had won it in every kind of way. They'd blown people out. They'd won at the buzzer. They'd won at the last second, overcame a big deficit in Knoxville and beat Tennessee. It was time for them to lay an egg, and they did. Now, give Vanderbilt credit. Our defense was really good, and I think we discovered something last night with that lineup. And what I'm saying is that when we go to a bigger lineup, the scoring may be a little more difficult for us at times. I don't know that Devin's going to shoot the ball like he did last night every night, but, boy, the matchups were a lot better for us for a while.
What is that back-to-back teams they've held to season lows now?
Yes.
I know it was a season low for Kentucky, and I think it was for State too.
Think about the last four. We went through the 3-game losing streak, but let's think of the type of games. There's been every type you can think of. We've gotten blown out. We've blown people out. We've had the game that should have been a Vandy win, really, the Florida game. It's part of the whole an entire basketball. And we've got 10 left. Heck, if we split them, you go 23-8, Chris. What is that, a 5-6 seed?
Yeah.
That's if you split them. Do better than that.
Well, I mean, you mentioned Stackhouse. Hey, the one thing he was good for was Tyler Tanner, and it wasn't his best game, but man, he was just so great those first 15 minutes or so. Just getting angles, getting buckets. He's just amazing.
And last night he had to be, because he was the only guard. I mean, Mike James and of course Tyler Harris, but there was so much weight on his shoulders last night. When he got his first foul fairly early, I was worried that he was going to get to him. We're going to have to set him for 5 or 6 minutes. And I was like, recipe for disaster. But he played the entire game, I think. Something that I haven't heard anyone talk about, we didn't have a turnover in the second half, Chris.
Really? Wow. Well, I mean, first of all, they slowed the pace to, like, I think the last 8 minutes, I'm not sure they got the shot clock. They took one with more than 5 seconds left on it. And Kentucky didn't even put up a fight. They just let them dribble out the possessions. It was
to tell you what kind of night it was for Kentucky. Remember the one play where they inbound the ball and then they turn around and bounds. That just tells you what kind of night it was for them. They didn't have anybody that was playing their A game. Now, again, credit, Vanderbilt's defense kind of took them out of it early. It was very similar to our game at Arkansas, the way we played.
Yeah. And some of that was Vanderbilt. Some of that, they just weren't hitting shots. Like, they were awful from the foul line. And which, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, like, they were one of the worst free throw defense teams in the country. Vanderbilt was. I think they're still in the bottom 20. They're like 340 something, which is like, it's not really a stat. That's just the label, because you don't play defense on free throws. Right. So really it's kind of I guess a good luck, bad luck stat. But that's 2 teams that have not shot free throws well against them in a row now. I guess they were due to get some of that luck.
Yeah, that's just like a coin flip. You say, well, we won the coin flip 8 times. It's just luck, is all it is. So
right. Yeah. In the what doesn't kill you makes you stronger category, the injuries could turn out to be a real blessing, because the one thing we've known for a while is, even with the guards, your question a little bit was the bigs. Jaden Leverett is, first of all, let's start there. He's starting to look like he's an answer for maybe 8 to 10 minutes a night, and who knows, maybe more by the end of the season.
Yeah, I thought physically he may need a year in the weight room, but last night I think he had a
big.
Couple. But he did a great job, and here's the other thing: Chandler Bing, without him, I'm not sure it's a blowout. He was great defensively. He blocked 2 of Oweh's shots. He did I'm not sure we can count on getting 17 points out of those 2 every night. But think about it, Chris. We won by 25. We never trailed, and we had we only shot 40%. We didn't play great.
No, they didn't. I mean,
and I know this weekend against Ole Miss, that makes the turn. Once we play Ole Miss, we're the halfway point. And if we get that one Saturday or whenever we play it, I've heard we're going to play in Birmingham. I've also heard we're going to play in Nashville. I don't know if that's been decided yet. But if we get that one and go to 6-3 at the turn, and then you have 5 at home out of the last 9, this team has a chance to win 12 or 13 and be right in there at the top 3 teams.
No doubt. The other guy too, Mike James, I feel bad. I just want the kid to hit a shot.
Well, he did hit a 3 last night.
That's right. He did on the kick out from Tanner, which was the play of the night.
Yes.
But he plays hard. Like, the only thing I've questioned about this team all year, there's only 2 things. It's the inside play and, like, just at times, and it was just briefly, the defensive effort. Mike James, I feel like, gives you a lot every night, and you just need somebody to go out there and be competent and defend. And I feel like he's doing a pretty good job of that.
He is. And I'm going to tell you something not to give up on is Tyler Harris. Tyler it's taking Tyler longer than anybody else because of the style of play that they played at the University of Washington. My nephew has told me this. He lives in Seattle, and he told me, he said he was a really good shooter, but it's off of set offenses where he's getting and that type of thing. So the pace of play at which Vanderbilt plays at is not his, it's new to him.
Yeah.
And I think he's got some, because he's a really good rebounder. He's got a great reach, great length. I still think there's some good things down the road for him. And you're right. We have figured out now that we have more depth than we thought we had.
No doubt. And now it's just like they're what? I mean, if they win 3 more games, they're in the tournament, I think.
Right. Yeah, if you win 3, but obviously if you can, like I said, if you can split the last 10,
yeah,
you're a 5 or 6 seed, I think. And if you get this one Saturday, we always talk about this is a big game, this is a big game. Of course, they're all big games. But if we beat Ole Miss on the road and get to 6-3 and have those final ones where we're at 5 at home, man, I feel like we could win 12 or 13.
I mean, you'd really like to get a 3 or a 4, or especially a 2. I think that's going to be hard with the injuries. 2 15s and 1 16s don't happen a lot. You see some 3 14s and some 4 13s. But really, this is a team like a lot of those mid-major teams that they've got quick guards. Like remember when Murray State beat Vanderbilt, the Jenkins team, one of those. Like it was that kind of thing. Like that's the kind of team they can be fine with. You don't want to play a team that's just really big.
Florida was the biggest test, playing a bunch of bigs. And we played them well. Of course, we had Duke and everything. When we get Duke and Frankie back, hopefully it'll come right around tournament time. That's going to be huge for this team, man, because then you're legitimately 10 deep.
Yeah. I mean, your nightmare scenario might be drawing like a 7-11, so it'd be 6-12. That's not right, is it? 5-12.
No, that's right. It's 5-12.
Yeah, I mean, what you wouldn't want to do is draw like a Texas or somebody that's got talent that just slips in.
Usually they don't match up conference teams in the first round, do they?
They don't. I'm using them as an example. Like
okay.
A team that, like a Big 12 team that I don't know who that would be. But my point is, like, even if you get one of these mid majors, I feel like they're equipped to beat that kind of team. I mean, we've seen it already a few times. But
you don't want to match up with like Miami of Ohio, who hadn't lost a game yet.
Well, I mean, I might even take that one, but I'd have to see what they've got. But I guess here's where I am with them. They've now found answers. They're starting to and these guys are going to get better.
Right.
And you now have some, like, I was really concerned about the game last night. I felt good about their chances all week. And then when the Miles thing dropped and there's not as many people there because of the weather, I'm just thinking this is kind of a recipe for something to go against them. And like they were never, there was not a second they weren't in control of that game.
Well, we got out to a 7-0 or 7-2 lead, and that was the closest Kentucky was 5 points from that point forward.
Yeah.
They never got it to single digits.
Yeah. I mean, if they get – go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, you're good.
I think the priority now is just make sure you get Collins and Miles back. Like, I'm willing to take a loss or two if I'm them where, like, okay, well, he can play if he needs to. No, just sit those guys until they're well. And then, like, when you get there, you've got more playing time for Bing and James. And who knows with James, too. I mean, he's just a little over a year removed from that knee surgery.
Right.
So maybe he catches some confidence and fire. And again, I really like what I'm seeing out of Leverett. You have so many options there potentially available to you if you play this right and you get both those guys at full health going into the NCAA tournament. Now, you want to get them some warm-up time, I think, for sure. Get them used to playing in games again. But, man, you get Miles and Collins back 100%, they can beat just about anybody.
Chris, this league on home court, 16 can beat 1.
Yeah.
And there's been years when only you'd say 16 might beat the 6th place team. But this league is it's more balanced than it was last year. Last year you had 10 really good teams and then 6 that were This year there's only about 2 or 3 teams that don't scare you. Everybody else can beat you on a given day, just like Mississippi State. I don't just slough that off that we won by 32. Now, Hubbard's the kind of guy that can go off and single-handedly beat you. He didn't that day. He was 2 for 10 or whatever. So, they never were in the game with us. But even Mississippi State can scare you. So, I don't know. Every game left is a quad 1 or quad 2 game, correct?
I think so.
So there's not going to be a real bad loss in there, probably. I don't know who we have left. I'm trying to think that would be a bad loss, maybe a home loss to an Oklahoma. That'd be about it. Everything else, it's a road game at Missouri, Georgia at home. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. But I'm so excited the fact that we got through that 3-game losing streak. And kind of like football with the Georgia State a couple of years ago, the Arkansas loss on the road, we may look back on that and say that was the turning point to the season that got it, because we started playing better defense.
Well, and even that one, like, I was a little concerned the way Acuff handled Tyler Tanner, but there's been some talk that Tanner had the flu, and like that stuff wipes you out. I mean, hey, for the guy to go out the way against maybe a lottery pick with the flu tells me a lot about his competitive spirit, which, I mean, we already knew that, but I'm just saying, like, that was one thing that made me pause a little bit. I'm like, oh, well, if he had the flu, then, what's he even doing out there?
He had lost like 7 pounds, I was told.
I don't think he had 7 pounds to lose, Luke.
That's what I'm saying. He only weighs 165. So you're probably talking about a kid who was 150. He's slight anyway. And, it just zaps your energy. And that's what he is a ball of energy. So, you had a Tyler Tanner that was probably at 30%.
Yeah. What else from that one?
I want to go back to, you give Kentucky, they didn't play well. That's for sure. And I always like to listen to other podcasts like Kentucky and how their reaction is. They've had a couple of injuries too. Let's look at their side. So defensively, we were really, really good though. So a lot of those shots that were missed, Oweh doesn't miss those type of shots, but Chandler Bing blocked 2. We blocked 9 shots last night, Chris.
Yeah.
So that big lineup, we've discovered something that we can play another way. And that's what I'm taking from it, is that we now know, look, we can beat a quality team. Obviously, they'd won 5 in a row. A quality team that had thought they had turned it around and turned the corner, and you go out there minus 2 of your best players and beat them by 25.
Well, it's weird. You don't think of them as a big team, but when you're starting 6 foot, 6'7", 6'7", 6'8", 6'10", you are a big team. With Leverett, one of your first subs off the bench, is whatever 6'11" and beefy. I mean, suddenly you've got that.
And then Mike James is a 6'5" guard. So
I think he's more like 6'7", isn't he? Oh, James. I'm thinking of Tyler Harris. Excuse me. Right. He's big. He's big too.
I got a question for you. What's your take on the Mason Nicholson thing? Do you think it's just they can't play him anymore and they've given up on him, or will he redshirt, or what?
How do I say this? First of all, did you see the press conference with Mark Byington?
Oh, the testy. I wouldn't say it was testy. I think it was more testy towards Nicholson.
That was my thing too. Like, if you don't know Mark, and like Elena Morris asked the question, I'm glad she did. I was going to if she didn't.
Right.
You would think, okay, that's a coach and a reporter that have something there. That's not the case. I've never seen him be remotely testy towards anybody. So there was that. And my first thought was he's really frustrated with Nicholson. I had a conversation with somebody close to the program last night, and I didn't want to like bait them into telling me something they didn't need to tell me, but I asked a few questions, and I could just tell by the look and the language that like there's something that's really frustrating about that situation. Didn't tell me anymore, but now I was told it and the Collins thing aren't the same thing. There's been a rumor. I can't give it any credence, but a rumor that, it could be one of these things. Preserve a red shirt, hit the portal. I was told whatever the situation is for Collins and Nicholson, they're different situations. So I don't know exactly what that means, but like, I wish I could sort of describe the way it was answered. I won't do that out of respect to the person, but it sort of clarified to me that the way that Mark answered it was, it was a very frustrated with the situation here.
And I think this too, and I understand this from a coaching standpoint. You just had a great 25-point win in a gym that was only 60-40 Vanderbilt because of the weather, and you're asking about a kid who had nothing to do with the win. And I think he was like, let's talk about the guys that played.
Yeah. Well, and the context for that is like we've been meaning to ask that for forever. People have asked us to ask it, and we just I wasn't there for the Florida game, and so that's just when it happened. But anyway.
Let me bring this up. I go back to last year, and this just may be the way Coach Byington handles injuries. He never said that Alex Hemingway was never going to play. It was always like he's getting better, or he's and he kind of he kicks the can down the road on the injury thing, and that's fine. But I'd like to really know, and I have a little bit of insight with the basketball team, not as much as you. That's more me as football, but I just wonder if there's something with Nicholson that he's like, I don't want this kid on the floor for us. He doesn't deserve to be on the floor.
Yeah, I could buy something along those lines. But I mean, he's out there. He was rebounding during warm-ups last night. Miles was out there in the middle of everybody. Collins was out there.
And excuse me, Chris, some of the things we don't know would be like, could it be something academically? Could it be something popped off to a tutor? Stuff like that. I'm not saying it happened, please. I'm not trying to paint the bad kid. I'm just saying you never know. There's always variables that we're not about.
Coaches have to take a bullet for players a lot.
They do.
And even when it's not deserved.
I agree.
Although I kind of feel like in this era of pay for play, it's more fair game. And like if I don't know that there's anything to the Collins. In fact, I probably shouldn't have said that, but like if you're on a team, especially that's going somewhere and you're thinking about preserving eligibility to go in the portal for a team that's playing you, I got no room for that.
Oh, I don't either. And I'll tell you how you can tell is don't watch, like after a big play or a rally, watch the bench and the reaction. And Frankie Collins is into it.
Yeah, I was going to say that would really surprise me because he does not strike me as a kid who wants to walk away from, getting in the postseason and maybe winning a lot of games.
Right. And if you're Coach Byington and he knew this, well, I just wouldn't dress him. I wouldn't have him on the bench.
I would too. I would just say go. If you're going to do that, then get on with it. We'll give reps to other people in practice.
Right.
I would have a hard time buying that.
I heard this, and correct me if I'm wrong. I thought all along he said first week of February was when Collins would be back. That's what I heard a long.
Maybe.
So we'll see. If he doesn't play in the next 3 games, then I'd start to worry.
And Miles is supposed to have a procedure, I think, this morning. I mean, when he said a knee thing and surgery, I'm like, is that like just when he said clean up, I'm thinking that sounds like arthroscopic to me. So he didn't say it, and I didn't want to press him on it after the way he answered that other question. I was like, okay, now's not the time, but
right. No.
Anything else on the game last night before we grab the mailbag?
No. Do we know yet about the Ole Miss game, Chris?
You know what? That was the next thing I was going to ask you. As of probably an hour ago, I didn't know. There had been rumors. I heard a rumor a couple of days ago that there was going to be sorry, I got a phone call. I had to hang up on that. That they were thinking about moving the game to Birmingham on Friday night. The women, I think, play Birmingham on Friday afternoon.
Correct. And it's free admission if anyone wants to go.
Yeah, and there's been talk about also switching with Ole Miss because, they play them again, playing the game in Nashville this weekend and then playing
in Oxford later.
Yeah.
I don't really like that because our weather's not great either. Our situation.
Well, I have a friend who's kind of an Ole Miss's broadcasting crew. He told me right now they're using the gym to like just host people and keep them warm while power's out.
The warming
Like,
center.
yeah, that's exactly the terms. I just don't think you play basketball at a time like that.
No, and to defend Ole Miss, men and women both, that's a big distraction.
Sure. Yeah. I'd almost rather just reschedule the game to later in the season.
Yeah. We have that week. Actually, it's next week, though. That's the problem. Our week where we have 5 days off is next week.
Yeah. I don't know what you do. It's not really fair to Ole Miss to lose a home game.
No, but it's necessary.
Sure. It may just be the best of the bad options. All right, let's get to the mailbag. The mailbag is sponsored by Sutherland and Belk, a family-owned law firm. If you've been injured in an accident, give Taylor or Russell a call, 615-846-6200. See what your rights are and if they can help. Guest line presented by a friend of the show, John Levin and Womble Bond Dickinson. We appreciate those guys too. Okay, first one. Let me pull these up. Have you heard anything more about building projects associated with any of the facilities?
Nothing specific. I know there's things going to happen and going on, and obviously we know what's going on with baseball, where the dimensions are going to be different, right center. Besides that, I know nothing specific.
By the way, the baseball thing, I hate that the fences are brought in, especially the way the ball gets out to right at times, but it just is what it is.
It's funny. The fence will be higher. Am I correct? It's kind of like the Braves, right?
A couple of feet.
The bricks. So if it's, what's it going to be? 3 what now? What will it be to right field?
Was it 315 or 320 this year?
Okay, so it brings it in 10 feet, but you had
more than that.
Ball. So you still, probably 10 feet different, maybe.
Well, the ball really carries to right and right center when it's warm.
Yep.
And I do wonder longer term when that building is built, like how high is it? Because it could change the wind patterns and it could keep some balls in the yard again. Like it gets out too easily to that alley.
Right.
Late in the season. I think to me, the way they build that team, I wouldn't mind that building kind of changing the current and keeping some balls in the yard.
Well, it's funny. Last year, our success when we played at Tennessee, and they got the similar thing, although they got that little short wall. Remember Barzy just wore it out while we were there, and a couple other guys. I think Tim his eyebrows may have raised on that.
That could be. I mean, that's true. I hadn't thought of that. Like, I wonder if it would have been possible to maybe leave the fences kind of where they were, because I mean, I don't know where they are in terms of construction, in terms of what they have done. I haven't seen a lot. I've just seen a dirt lot out there. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, next one from Charleston alum. What should the SEC and the NCAA do about Bama playing a professional player? There have to be consequences for the clear violation.
Okay, here's my feelings on that. Yeah, I was, when I first heard it, I just discussed it or whatever. But I go back and look at some of these players that's come from overseas. I don't see anything different. Tennessee, for example, had the kid, what was his name? The left-handed kid that had played in semi-pro ball over there.
Vescovy.
Yes, and then Euros Plavsic or whatever. They've had, we had AJ Ogilvy, but now AJ, I think.
He was never a pro. He's right out of high school.
Right, he was out of high school. So, but, Chris, the silly thing about all this is until there's a collective bargaining agreement, things are going to just continue to get worse.
Well, everybody yells at the NCAA, why don't you enforce your rules? And I got plenty of issues with the NCAA, but here's what happens. Every time there's a rule somebody doesn't like, they just go to court and get it overturned.
Yeah.
So it's like this constant circle where there's never any way for this to be cohesive and coherent and fair across the board.
Well, and the judge was a Alabama grad, an Alabama fan, season ticket holder.
I know.
I mean, it's just I don't like it. I really don't, but not much we can do about it.
No. Let's see if there's any more. There was one about the health of a couple of basketball players, but I think we hit that already. And I apologize because I was late in getting the mailbag up today. There are a couple in the chat. Let me find them. Let's see. Midge says, glad we survived. ESPN is showing Saturday night at Ole Miss versus Vandy. So that hasn't changed yet. I checked the schedule about 2 hours ago. It hadn't changed then either. The women's game, of course, is Birmingham at 2. Justin Holland says, oh, boy, it's called a humble brag. Don't want to say that every one of my suggestions and questions from last week with Luke and with the live show with Tim, I guess he means hit here, but the one about Glock underperforming to needing to get Leverett in and Bing minutes, I feel like Nostradamus when Leverett played. Glock stepped up and Bing had a breakout showing. Justin, way to go, man.
Okay, Justin, give us a prediction. Who's going to have another? Jalen Dean Vine's going to score 15 this Saturday?
I like it. Vanderbilt Nation says hello. Asks how we're doing. Ask how I'm doing. We're great.
Great.
It's great to see Memorial packed last night. Yeah, I wouldn't say packed, but it was understandable.
It was around 11,000 from what I was told.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's not bad. Probably 4,000 Kentucky and 7,000 Vandy.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a lot more to cheer about between now and the end of the season. I mean, the Tennessee game will be fun. Who else do we get here? Auburn?
Auburn's on the road.
Auburn's there.
Get Georgia
here. Texas A&M. Texas A&M will be here.
And they may be the best league. It'll be interesting to watch Bucky ball.
I don't think they are the best team in the league, but right now they're in first place, and he's done a heck of a job because, man, that roster got gutted. He built it back over the summer.
They are that fast pace and pressing the whole time. Usually toward the end of the season, those teams kind of fade away.
Yeah,
because their legs get a little tired. But he's done a heck of a job so far.
Yeah, I think that to me is the team that he's gotten the most out of, and they're probably in for, kind of a return to reality. But it's going to be good enough to get him to the NCAA tournament, I think.
Oh, I agree.
All right, I've got to run. We're actually getting out of the house. I'm taking my son to the batting cage.
Good.
It'll be nice. But any parting thoughts, Luke?
No, just hopefully everyone, you guys keep me abreast because I don't know who to call to find out when we play Ole Miss. I'm thinking about driving to Birmingham if we do. Hopefully by next Wednesday. We don't have a game next week, so we'll have some more good reporting and good news from the Ole Miss game.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing the Ole Miss game. And then I guess let's see Oklahoma here next. So they'll get a week off. I guess could be when you could move the game back a little bit, as you said. So anyway, not a bad time now that I think about it for, with Miles and Collins being out. So anyway,
yeah.
Which I wonder if that had something to do with it. Hey, like we've got a built-in break after this. Why not?
Possibly
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, Luke, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you later.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Remember to give us a rating where you see us on podcast platforms, especially Apple Podcasts. 5 stars and nice comments always helped. Go to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's free. You can get Vandy 247 for about $120 a year. That helps our channel too. And if you're interested in sponsoring the show, give me a shout, chrisley70@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you again soon with more episode of the Vandy 247 podcast presented by FanDuel.